It's now the end of the year and our last event is behind us. We went out to COTA for one last hurrah in our stockish GT4RS, all in search of half a 10. Were we able to find it? What direction is the car going from here? Let's chat. Merry Christmas! I hope everyone is having a great holiday. For those of you who are new, I have been chasing lap time in our orange GT4RS for exactly a year now. On December of 2023 was the first test of how capable this car could be at COTA. For that first event, I drove it on oversized Nankang CRS V2s, and from there I knew the car was a rocket. There was simply a lot to get used to. Previously, I ran a 991.1 GT3RS, and this Cayman is so different to that. The car seemed a little more unstable, had less tire, but I could see there was potential with some changes. That weekend, I was able to put down a 220.41 at COTA. From here, we discovered a cracked strut tower, and the car was off to repair for about a month or so. The next go around at COTA wasn't until April, where on the exact same set of tires, I was able to piece a 219.65. In this event, you could tell I was a little bit more comfortable with the nature of the car, and I had also installed an over axle pipe to get more growl out of the car. The tires had a little more life in them, so we were off to the next event in May. Halfway through day one, tire grip had fallen off a cliff, and that weekend's best time was a 221.72. It was tough for me to see the regression in lap time, but the problem was that the Nankang tires were out of stock. Believe me, I would have been prepared for this with a new tire set. When we first got the car, it didn't feel great on OEM tires, so I refused to buy them and was living on the hope that the Nankangs would come back to stock. They still aren't in stock to this day. This year's fourth COTA event came and the car stayed in the shop, still awaiting a tire solution. This rolled over into the summer break where there was a lot of thinking on what path to take that car down. It was because of your comments, it was now my quest to try to squeeze as much performance out of the car as close to factory as possible. I decided to get in touch with my local wheel company 812 and I had some 19-inch forged wheels cut out for the 4RS. This car has a specific caliber offset and I knew squeezing 19s on it would be close, but not impossible. The wheels we got were OEM plus offsets, and once we had a fresh set of Hankooks on them, they looked proper. We were off to COTA in September after the summer break, and while it was a little warm, track conditions were optimal. The track had good grip this event, and we were able to rip off a 217.04. I was through the moon. We knew good rubber would find us a second or two at this level, but finding it and piecing a lap together is the tough part. With a 17.0 in our pockets, next was dreaming of getting into the 16s. Being half a number away, it didn't seem unrealistic, and after a 3-month break, we were back to COTA in December. Before we get into my December laps, I want to tell you what exact mods the car has to this point. It has front camber plates, thrust arms, rear toe links from Tarot, rear camber plates from Immo cars, and a used sole over axle pipe and wing risers from Silver Rocket I got cheap from a friend. These physical parts allowed me to reach that aggressive alignment I like to put in every car I drive. Now, jump in the car with me to see what I was able to run this December event. We ready? Let's go, baby. And this car, you could just hear it breathe. Has those snorkels on our sides. Oh yeah, a little more damp on this backside. Talk. It's on the edge. So yeah guys, the later part of the track is still a little damp, and I'm just hoping heat and the Hankooks will be able to take that. Oh yeah, this baby's on the nose. Reviewing my onboard, I think I could have gotten into the 17s, but going into the 16s just wasn't realistic for the weekend. My bestest go around was a 2:18.32. This weekend, not only were we fighting the weather, but there were a lot of delays that reduced the time on track. Since it had been raining on and off throughout the week, we could only conclude that there wasn't any rubber laid down on the track that would give us that increased grip we had in September. So I keyed our GT4RS on, looked at the dash, and I actually confirmed this in our onboard G meter. I saw 0.1 less lateral G loads and the same under braking, so 0.1 less under braking and 0.1 less under cornering loads. This according to the OEM G meter and the onboard dash. I think something else that affected my driving was that I drove our 991 a lot this weekend. The 991.2 GT4RS that I drove in the rain and dry was a very composed car that was predictable and a dream to drive at the limit. The 4RS is just not that. I am still trying to become one with the car, but I feel that distributing grip properly in this chassis is tough. The second I add grip to the front end, the rear becomes very unstable, but in certain scenarios, the car still develops a big push, so it understeers. Confidence is everything, and maybe I left a few % of that at home this weekend, therefore affecting my performance in this machine. So what's next? We will continue to push to try to tame this machine. My goal is to make this car drive like a 911, and believe me, we will eventually get it there. There are two ways to attack this. Approach 1, call our boys over at Dundon and get what they call their cheater parts, like MCS, aero, headers. This should easily propel us to lap times lower than the 16s. Or option 2, play with what we have and continue to torture ourselves into oblivion. Let's do that one. We learned we need two things from the track to get us into the 16s. They are good weather, followed by good track conditions. Besides this, baby girl will be going on a diet, and we will move forward with tuning the OEM shocks through a DSC controller with OEM spring rates. Our boys over at 812 Wheels have also built us a new set of fronts for the car. We will be maximizing track width and gaining about an inch that should result in a better front end. Guys, an inch is an inch. This paired with a sprinkle of arrows should help us take this car to the next step. After all, like I tell everyone who is pushing me for big upgrades, I feel there is a little bit of juice left to squeeze out of this orange as it sits. Let me know what you guys think. If you are a GT4RS owner, what have you done to find lap time, or what are some of the challenges you are facing in reaching your lap time goals? Like always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, as we are always happy to help. I hope everyone has an awesome Christmas, and we'll catch you in the new year.